Hello everyone, it's TT. This video is going to be about research and the importance of it. As you're starting out in a new kingdom, most people will probably go straight for combat, and the different levels of research will unlock with each stronghold upgrade. So I believe the first three here and this one, combat, are all open as soon as as soon as you have a university in your city. In the superior research, the War Fury opens when you are stronghold 23. Combat 2 opens when you're stronghold 26, and I believe King's Legion opens when you're 35. The game will automatically put you into the combat research and ask you to, I believe it automatically asks you to start March slot 1, and then, so most people gravitate towards continuing with combat, which is fine. However, don't neglect your development research. There are several things within the development research that are super important for new players. The first being the construction 1 and research speed 1. By doing these fairly cheap researches, they will boost the speed of construction as well as research for your new strongholds. That way it takes less speeds to get through the research. So as you're going through more and more research, you can see there's a lot. You're using less and less speeds than you would had you not done this research. The troop load is also a very important research to do when you're a smaller castle, because you're probably going to be needing resources, and troop load boosts the carrying capacity for your troops to carry resources. Being a smaller castle when you're first starting out, most people, you'll see these castles out in the wild and they'll have 2 million, 5 million, 10 million resources, but when you're attacking them without a big troop load, you're maybe carrying home 30,000 resources, maybe 60,000 resources. So by increasing your troop load, you can carry more and more. Your hospital capacity is important for battles, and I talked a little bit about hospital capacity in my buildings video. Stamina recovery basically is just the time it takes for you to regain your stamina. I've done a lot of research on this castle, so I'm gonna say that one's not super important for newer players, but to each their own. In my opinion though, training speed, definitely important, because you want troops and you want to spend less speeds to get those troops. As you go through the stages, these will be unlocked at higher and higher university levels, but upkeep reduction is super important. This one means upkeep reduction is how much food your troops are eating of the open food, which is this food up here, not the food in your bag, but this food up here. So my alliance just finished the alliance research. We just finished all of the efficiency research for our alliance. I am inside my territory here, and I've finished all of my personal troop upkeep research. So I have currently not very many troops because KVK, but I have about 1 million troops and 0 upkeep because of that research, which is super nice because I can have 78 million food open and my troops are not eating any of it. Otherwise, until you get to those stages, if you have open food, you'll probably want to use a upkeep reduction. Going back to your university and the development stage, your wounded conversion is important for battles. Here's another troop load, another construction, research speed. So as you can see, some of them are repeated to give you better and better boosts. So don't forget your development tab, it's super important. Going to the economy tab, I'm not as good at this. I'm a terrible farmer, but you can go through and the important ones for me, at least, are the gathering tabs. So not only does that speed up the gathering time that your troops are spending on tiles on the map, but also, and I don't have this proven, but I'm pretty sure if you focus on one area of research, like let's say food gathering, here's another one. If you focus on that, your troops will focus, when you're attacking a castle, they will focus more on gathering food first. I'm pretty sure. I don't have it proven because my research is pretty full, but that's what it feels like. So defense. I've done a lot of the research here because it's so cheap, but in my opinion, your wall defense is important because you don't want to be ported away as you're being attacked. In Solar Kingdoms, there's the Lamorak hero, which will break down your wall. So you want to have a better wall defense so you're not being ported away. And then the City Defender attack, City Defender defense, and health are all important because that affects the heroes that are on your wall. So as you can see, there are different levels again for those particular researches. As I said in my buildings video, traps are pretty useless. So I haven't even touched these. I might finish, well, eventually I'll finish these researches, but yeah, traps are pretty useless. I don't know why I completed those. Okay, going to advanced research, combat. All of it is important except siege. Because siege are really only used for gathering now. You don't need siege attack, you don't need defense or health for siege. So I only have them on level 1 so I can get to the next research stage. March speed is going to be a really important one. Well, purely because you want to be fast when you're killing things, right? Either when you're killing a monster or when you're killing a castle with troops, you want to be able to be fast. It also helps in events, such as speeding to a tower for Nether War or for KVK, speeding to one of the passes or a castle for rewards. It also helps in Portal because it's a timed event, as well as mages, Alliance Hunt mages. Some of you may not know what that is yet, but you will, and you want to be fast. So of course the infantry, bowmen, and cavalry research is super important, but march capacity as well. These researches will increase your march capacity. Here, the march slot, that is the amount of marches you can send out at once. Troop formations, you will eventually get to that one, but that has to do with your training grounds and the formations that you can set within your training grounds. So you can set a march for attack, you can set a march for portal, you can set a march for gathering if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but you can. And then again, they repeat. Oh, here's another march slot. So march slots are super important as well, because that will allow you to send out multiple marches at the same time, which allow you to protect your troops better if you're attacking or being attacked. It also allows you to gather more if you're a farmer. Going to combat 2, here are pretty much the same thing. However, you also get troop stat benefits through these researches here, and then more march capacity, and it repeats itself throughout. Going to superior research though, this one opens up when you're stronghold 23. This one I really want to say it's stronghold 35. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But going to War Fury is takes Philosopher Stones. So does King's Legion, and lots of them. Starting out here, you have Undying Oath. Now, Undying Oath is where you get your critical chance. And I can talk about critical chance I have talked about it before, but I can talk about it again in a future video if that's interesting to you. But basically what it is if you have 6 troop types or less, meaning top 2 tier of infantry, top 2 tier of cavalry, top 2 tier of bowmen, and no more than 6 different troop types, you get an additional critical hit chance. If you break that crit, like let's say you're doing a rally, you have your 6 troop types, someone else sends different 6 troop types, that's going to be 12 troop types that will break your crit, and you won't have your crit chance. So a lot of people will work on Undying Oath, but I would not go to a critical hit march, like if you're attacking someone, until you're at least 26%, and it goes all the way up to 40%. Here's another Undying Oath, gives you 10%. Hospital capacity research, these are higher levels than the other combat or in your development. Now, embassy expansion, I'm not very good at these ones because I don't normally take reinforcements with me anywhere, but the embassy expansion will allow you to increase your reinforcement capacity. So if somebody wants to send you troops while you're out attacking so they can, help protect you, then you'll want a higher reinforcement capacity so you can have more troops inside of you or your castle. Now, Legion is in my buildings video, we talked about buildings and their importance, and Hall of War, and how the Hall of War increases your rally capacity. This is the research that increases your rally capacity. And again, super important research. So when you are doing events and you're trying to kill an opponent by rally, you can have more troops in your rally by increasing this research. There's more march capacity for yourself, and then the research repeats itself. And finally, in King's Legion, this isn't really a beginner research at all, but it has some of the same things, and then plus an additional higher attack for infantry, cavalry, and bowmen. And then when you're really high level stronghold, first one being at stronghold 41, because you can see here you need a university level 41. You can do deadly arms, which gives you basically a percentage of your enemy troops will permanently die based on that percentage. And there's that last March slot that I mentioned. So that's it for research. I hope this is helpful. Thank you for watching.
King of Avalon, play now.